Thank you, Mr. Chairman and distinguished committee members. It's an honor to speak before you today. My name is Alina Bricman. I am the chair of the European Union of Jewish Students, the 40-year-old umbrella organization of national Jewish student unions across Europe. We operate in 35 countries and represent over 160,000 young Jews, about 10% of Europe's Jewish population. We represent them to the European Union institutions, the United Nations Human Rights Council, the OSCE Office of Democratic Institutions and Human Rights, other international bodies, Jewish communities, civil societies, the youth sector, and as of now, the US Congress. EUJS cultivates pluralism, recognizes the value of interfaith and intercultural dialogue, and speaks the language of universalism, driven by a belief that Jewish rights are human rights, and human rights are Jewish rights. On the 4th of July, as the United States was celebrating its Independence Day, we were taking note of an important milestone. The first ever EU-wide report on the perceptions and experiences of young Jews in Europe. A report by the European Commission and the EU Fundamental Rights Agency, drawn up by the Jewish Policy Research Institute at our request. For the first time, we had data to back up what we intuitively knew, and to paint a sourced picture about who young Jews in Europe really are. The report showed troubling results. 44% of young Jewish Europeans experienced anti-Semitic harassment, so almost 1 in 2 young Jews, which is 12% higher than their elders. 80% of young victims do not report harassment. 45% of young Jewish Europeans choose not to wear, carry, or display distinguishable Jewish items. 41% have considered emigrating, and 85% have been targets of anti-Israel bias. Also, only 17% think governments are effective in their work to combat anti-Semitism. These numbers are worrying, and they represent a broader global trend. However, what we also got to see is the passionate and engaged attitude these young people hold towards the world. 81% of the young Jewish Europeans declared the strength of their Jewish identity to be high. They also understand the issues faced by other communities and feel part of a bigger whole. 81% believe racism is a problem, and 74% perceive an increase specifically in anti-Muslim hatred. The task before us, and yourselves especially, is to understand how to best mobilize this enormous social capital, how to best help these 81% of young Jews, for instance, who say their identity is strong, to make positive change in society. So we propose 3 things. Number 1, invest in education. From the highest levels of political decision-making, a strong commitment to anti-racist education must come forward. This ought to trickle down to ministries of education, policymakers, university bodies, and eventually teachers and students. Anti-bias trainings, a better understanding of contributions of minorities to social fabric, and a positive celebratory approach to diversity are key. Number 2, support civil society initiatives. Civil society is at the front of intercultural dialogue, bringing to life original and constructive solutions. Funding, as well as visibility and cross-party political support, should be made ready to them. And 3, depoliticize anti-Semitism and depoliticize racism. Engage responsibly in the public arena. Anti-Semitism, racism, and extremism are not left or right issues. They show their ugly teeth across and outside of the political spectrum. Anti-Semitism is a complex phenomenon, best described by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance working definition and its examples. Governments should work to mainstream this definition and align their discourse to it without instrumentalizing such important topics as the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, immigration, or Holocaust remembrance. I can assure you, EUJS is ready to be a trustworthy partner in the fight against intolerance, as are so many amazing civil society initiatives. We are ready to contribute our fair share. We only need the political support to do it.